I have a curse, I have a gift, I'm a monster, I'm more than human. My touch is lethal, my touch is power. That sounds crazy. Yeah, I'm very excited to read this. Hey, what's up? My name is Aryan, and today we're going to be talking about the 24 books I want to read in 2024. I used to read here and there, but it was never like anything big. Like I'd be reading like 5 books a month or something. I'd read like maybe 1 book a year. So 2024, I kind of want to change that. I want to get back into reading, and I want to be able to enjoy books again. So I decided that I'm gonna have at least 24 books done this year. My real goal is like maybe 50 books this year, but to get me started, 24 books in 2024, all planned out, ready to read, will be really easy for me to get into it. So I'm gonna start with my physical to be read, which I want to get all of them done in 2024 before I get new books. So I'm gonna count myself putting myself on a book ban, even though I haven't been buying that many books yet. But I want to finish all the books that I've already bought before I decide to buy more books. The first book I already started in 2023, but it's like the last 3 days of the month before 2024, so I'm gonna count it towards my 2024 reading. The first book is Babel, which I talked about in the last video as well, that I was reading that, and if you haven't seen that video, you should go and watch it. It's about me becoming a reader and getting back into reading. It's also a haul video about all the books I bought and the last books I'm going to buy for a while until I finish them. But the first book is Babel, which is an arcane history about this kid who's learning a lot of languages and studying in the Royal Institute of Translation, also known as Babel, which is a tower. And there is translation and, most importantly, magic. Something about silver working and silver bars that become magical, and I started reading a little bit of it, and I'm getting into a little thing, but it's a little bit slow. Yeah, we're getting into it, and I'm really excited to see where this goes. So this is the first book of the year, Babel, that I'm going to finish and review, and really excited for that. Stop saying and. Really excited for this book, and this is the first book of 2024. The next book I have is Caraval, which is about this girl who has an arranged marriage, but she dreams of seeing the Caraval, but it turns out that it's about her. I'm not completely sure. I've heard things about this book, but I haven't read into it, like what the book is about or anything like that. So I will be going into this blind. Really excited for this book. Heard a lot of great things about this book. The next book is the one I'm probably going to read after I finish Babel, which is A Court of Thorns and Roses. I've heard plenty of good things about this book. I have no clue what this book is about. I've only ever heard a little bit on TikTok and Instagram and YouTube. I actually have no clue what this book is about. I know it's a fantasy. It might be a romantasy, I think I've heard. Ooh, it has fairies. That's fun. I love that. So it is about magic, and yeah, it's a fantasy book. I'm really into fantasy, so I'm really excited to read this. I hear it's really good. I hear that this author, Sarah Maas, is really good, and I expect to be reading more from her in 2024. I don't have any more of her books on my 2024 list, per se, because I want to be able to read this book and get an idea of if I like the author, if I like the series, and then I'll go from there. The next book is a book I bought in 2023, and I've been holding on to for a while but never read it because I wasn't in my reading moment. But the next book I want to read is The Secret History of Donna Tartt. The Secret History by Donna Tartt. And it's a mystery book about a group of kids who are led down a dangerous path beyond human constructs of morality. So it's a dark academia book, which is why I want to read it. I'm really excited to read it. But again, I'm coming off of reading fantasy YA fantasy specifically. YA books in general is what I'm used to reading. So getting into newer books that are a bit more adult. I don't know if this is a YA? I'm not even sure. But some of the books like Babel are a bit more for adults, and I've realized while reading Babel that it's a deeper in vocabulary and writing style. So hopefully this won't be too hard of a read. It might be a YA, I'm not sure. But yeah, the Secret History. Really excited to read. The next book is Siege and Storm. I read Shadow and Bone already in 2023, and I really liked it. So I bought the second book. So this will be one of the books I read in 2024 because I think I'm going to continue on reading the series of the Grishaverse. So I'm really excited to see what happened to all the characters. Number 6 is Legends and Lattes. This is about Viv and her hanging up her sword and no longer being a big fantasy adventurer anymore. And it's her kind of going into, I want to say, retirement. So it's about her meeting new people, and it really gives D&D vibes, which is why I'm like giving it a try, because it's not really like cozy fantasy. It doesn't really speak to me. I don't know, but I am excited to read it because I read the first couple pages waiting in the car for my mom at Barnes & Noble while she was at another store, and I really liked how it was going. It really felt like coming out of a D&D campaign, so I'm really excited to read this book. And the last of my physical to be read is One of Us is Lying. It's also a mystery thriller, so I'm really excited to read this. It should be like a pretty short read. It's about 5 students in detention. Only one of them never makes it out of the classroom, so that's really exciting. Love a good mystery. I haven't read a good mystery. The last mystery I read, I'm not going to say who or what it was, but it wasn't that good, to be honest. So I hope that this one is a lot better. The next books that I am planning on reading are books that are coming out in 2024. And right now I have 3 that I'm interested in. So the first one is The Crimson Moth, which is enemies to lovers. It's enemies to lovers, and it's a witch and a witch hunter falling in love. I'm so excited for that. I think I really do like the romantasy category of fantasy, but I also like regular fantasy. But I'm really excited for this book because it's a witch and a witch hunter. Like that, it's not like a new thing, but like for me it's crazy, and I know that it's gonna be a really interesting read. The next book that I want to read that's coming out in 2024 is Lunar New Year Love Story. I do not really read romance, but I wanted to give this one a try and some others a try that you'll see in the upcoming list. That I wanted to read a little bit of romance and see if I like it, and if I don't, then I don't have to read it for the rest of the year, but I do want to try it out. So Lunar New Year Love Story is a rom-com, heartwarming rom-com about fate, family, forgiveness, and lion dancing. I'm not sure if I'm gonna like romance. The romances I do read usually have like twists and turns and usually turn into like mystery books. And Turtles All the Way Down, which is one of my favorite books, is kind of like that, where it's a romance but it kind of turns out to be not. So I kind of want to read a pure romance and see if I like it. I hope I like it, and I hope I like the other romance books that I put on this list. I'm not sure how much of a romance reader I am, but I guess we'll see in 2024. The last new book that's coming out in 2024 that I want to read in 2024 is The Familiar, which is Leah Berdugo's, who is the writer of Shadow and Bone. She has a new book coming out in 2024 called The Familiar, and I want to read it. It's about I don't know what I'm saying. I think it is a fantasy as well, so excited about that. I really don't know much about this book. Even reading the synopsis, I have no clue what it's about. So I guess it'll kind of just be a little surprise to read as I go into the book. So excited for that. And starting out into number 11, I want to read some classics this year. I'm actually taking a Jane Austen class, so a lot of the books are going to be Jane Austen. I'm not sure which books I have to read for class, but there are a couple that I know I want to read. So starting at number 11, Pride and Prejudice, of course, is a read. I can't believe I've never read it before, but I really want to read it. And this will also get me into like the romance feel of books and see if I like it. But I've watched the movie and I did like that, so I am hoping that the book is just as good. Along with Pride and Prejudice, I also want to read Emma and Sense and Sensibility. Those are a couple of the Jane Austen books I want to read. I may end up reading more because of my class. I'm not sure yet. So those are the 3 that I want to read. Anything else is being forced to read, but I probably will like it anyways. And the last classic that I want to read is actually 1984 by George Orwell. I don't remember if it was this year or the year before, but I read Animal Farm by George Orwell, and I'm not into politics or anything like that, but I loved that book. It is one of my 5-star reads. That might be crazy, but I really enjoyed reading that book, and it was a short read, which is also great and nice. But this is a masterpiece of rebellion and imprisonment where war is peace, freedom is slavery, and Big Brother is watching, though police Big Brother Orwellian. What is going on with the book details? They're like, there's no punctuation. I'm reading on Goodreads. I'm like, what the hell? But yeah, want to read it. Heard it's really good. Probably see if I like it in the new year. Now for the rest of the books. Number 15 is How to Find Love in a Bookshop. I found this book in an independent bookshop cafe thing, so the star rating on it isn't like crazy good, but I don't know, it caught my eye. I want to read it. I want to try it out. It's about the owner struggling to keep the shop open. I'm not completely sure what it's about. It says it's a romance with secrets and hopes for the future. So obviously it's a romance. So this will be, again, me trying to see if I like the romance genre. I have a couple of other romance books that are really popular that I've heard of a lot on online on my list. So we're gonna see if all of those stories make me end up liking romance, and if not, then that will be it. The next book is The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches. I found this book while just kind of searching around for like cozy fantasy books. It's a warm and uplifting novel about an isolated witch whose opportunity to embrace a quirky new family and a new love changes course for life. So that really caught my eye, and I was like, that sounds like a good book, and I really want to read it. So if you've read it, tell me if you like it. It's still a fantasy and it's romance, so I guess a romantasy, and I guess I put a lot of those kind of books into my list. The next book that I want to get into in 2024 is 6 of Crows. I want to get into that series as well because I've just really like Leah Berdugo's writing. It's like easy to read, so I assume that a lot of it is like that in the rest of her books as well. Kaz is offered a chance at a deadly heist that could make him rich beyond his wildest dreams, but he can't pull it off alone. So I think this is a enemies to lovers, I was told. I think so. I'm not completely sure. If I'm wrong, let me know. But yeah, 6 of Crows, that series, more fantasy, more just crazy, get me out of this world in through a book kind of feel. The next book I want to read is Divine Rivals, which is about two journalists finding love through a magical connection. They must face the depths of hell in a war among gods to seal their fate forever. So I've heard a lot about this book. It's also in the romantasy category, so hopefully I like it. That's a lot of books. Next is the Shatter Me series. I've just heard so much about it that I feel like I have to read it. I have a curse, I have a gift, I'm a monster, I'm more than human. My touch is lethal, my touch is power. That sounds crazy. Yeah, I'm very excited to read this. Next is another romance book that caught my eye. Romance doesn't usually catch my eye, especially because I hate the people on the covers. I don't know why I don't like that, but I really don't. But The Spanish Love Deception, for some reason, I heard about it on TikTok. I saw it in the bookstore a couple times, and I'm like, I wonder what that book is about. And then I got it on TikTok, and I was like, this actually sounds kind of interesting. She needs a date to her sister's wedding, and there's just like a lot going on. And then I guess something Spanish happens. Next, I want to get into the Dreamland Billionaires. So The Fine Print is the first book that I want to read. I just like the kind of concept of these three brothers and getting to follow each of them through the books. So that kind of drew me into wanting to read this series. So I'm going to start with The Fine Print. Obviously, if I don't like the first book of any of these series that I've listed out, I won't read the rest of it. But that is one of the books that I'm interested in reading. The Archer's Voice, which I've also heard a lot about, and I've heard so much about it again that I feel like I just have to read it. It has such a good star rating. It's about a boy named Archer who is mute, I think. And I just really want to see how this like runs, how it turns out. I've heard so much good about it that I'm like, I have to give it a try. Heyo, it's Editing Jens here. I forgot to record for one of my books. So the book is Powerless. I just feel like it's a staple for fantasy readers right now. I've seen it everywhere on TikTok and BookTube and Book Talk and BookTube, and I feel like I just have to read it. I'm getting FOMO not reading it, so I feel like that's one of the books I want to read in 2024. Now let's figure out what the last book of 2024 will be. Of my list. Not the last book, but of the list. The last book is a book that I got for Christmas from my best friend. I don't have it with me because we weren't able to exchange presents just yet because he moved. That guy, best friend. But the last book that I want to read in 2024 is The Fourth Wing. So I want to get into that series. Really excited. I heard a lot about it. It's about like dragons and stuff. So really excited to read that. If you have any recommendations for books or getting into reading, if you want to get into reading as well and you want to read some of these books, or if you've read any of these books, tell me about it in the comments. I really am excited to get into reading again. And I thought that setting a goal in 2024 to read at least 24 books should be really exciting. I feel like it might take me a while, maybe a couple months to get through all the books, but I'm really excited to get to reading and get back into books. I used to read a lot when I was younger, and I just want to be able to have that feeling again. So getting back into books now as a 20-year-old is a little hard, especially with how busy I am, but I do want to make it a thing that I become a reader again. So hopefully you guys follow me along with this journey, and hopefully you liked some of the books on this list. Maybe you didn't like a couple books on this list. Let me know. And let me know if it's a good start, because I am new to reading. You guys probably know better than me. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a like. And if you liked any of these books, leave a like. If you don't like any of these books, don't leave a dislike. And let me know in the comments below what your opinion are on these books and if they are appropriate for getting into reading. Anyways, I hope to be a happy little reader in 2024. Really excited to get back into reading and kind of like please my inner child to get back into reading. The sun is setting. I'm really sorry about that. I tried to film this video as fast as possible. Really excited to get into these books, and hopefully I'll be able to make more content with them. For some reason, I didn't record me saying bye, so thank you for watching the video. Take care. Bye.